YouTube, what's going on? Shaney2K here with the Shaney Show, the first episode ever. Welcome to the show, guys. While you're here, check out my socials, Instagram, Twitter, everything's in the description. Also, timestamps for every single thing I'll be talking about being in the description. But, yeah, there's going to be a new segment every Friday. It'll be recorded the day before, so any news on Friday won't be covered. But from Friday to Thursday, I'll be covering news. This is kind of like a weekly update, kind of. But this is the inaugural episode of the Shaney Show, released on YouTube only. And I'll be announcing on my Instagram, you know the vibes. But today we have a lot to cover. Not really, but we have some things to cover. First up, we got Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., the Faucci inaugural throw, the Washington football team, Seattle Kraken, Bol Bol and the Nuggets, the NBA and MLB Return, and Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. Now, before we get into that, I'd like to kind of discuss what this is. This is a sports recap show. It's also like kind of a podcast, kind of a shoot-style podcast. It's really unscripted. Like, I just have the topics in front of me, talk about them, with some chill music that isn't my regular music, so, yeah. But, here we go. Let's just get into it. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson is 53 years old. 53-year-old Mike Tyson could still, murder me, but September 12th is scheduled for versus 51-year-old Roy Jones Jr., who I thought was at least 70 by now. I personally think it's, dumb, but how do you guys feel about this? Because, realistically, I get it. Mike Tyson's 53. He has a comeback. He looks sharper than he has in a while, obviously, but, I just think it's dumb because what's the best going to happen? We're going to get an awful fight. This is not going to be prime Tyson, prime Jones Jr. fight. But also, I get the chance to see Mike Tyson fight. Last time he fought, I think I was 6, maybe even younger. I might have the year off. No, I have the year way off. I thought he fought in 2009. That's my bad. But honestly, I got Tyson in this because who else would I take? Tyson's one of the baddest people on the planet, baddest man on the planet. I love Mike Tyson, so easily rocking with Mike Tyson for this. Easily. Mike Tyson, is one of my, not role models as a person, but role models as an athlete, especially because he gave 110% into boxing. And if you listen to some of Mike Tyson's podcasts, he's, serious. And, he's been on Joe Rogan podcast. He's a bad person. I'm trying not to curse on this. Maybe I should. Maybe I should make it, rated PG-13? I don't know. That'll be a discussion for my Discord. Speaking of my Discord, you can go check that out in the description. In the description. But, I think it's an 8-round exhibitional fight by the time I'm recording this at 8:38 p.m. on Thursday. So if things are subject to change in the next 24 hours before this is uploaded, wouldn't be that surprised. But it's going to be an awful fight. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, they're both old. So, I don't know what you could really expect from it. I mean, there's not going to be, a knockout. If there is, it's going to be, just a TKO. I understand Mike Tyson can throw a mean punch. Maybe there will be a knockout because I don't think either of them can really take a punch that well anymore. But I just don't like this fight at all. I don't think Mike Tyson should ever fight again just because of his well-being and stuff. I understand he's 53. He's one of the best athletes on the planet still. But it's just dumb to me. Next topic we're getting into is the Faucci Throw. MLB returned today as I'm recording this, so yesterday for you guys, with a Nationals versus the Yankees. Trump did not throw the opening pitch. He's the first president to do so since Taft, but he didn't last year either, so no biggie. So Fauci, one of the world's best doctors, threw the first pitch. And if you didn't see it, I'm not getting copyrighted. I recommend you look up the Fauci Throw. I could have thrown it better blindfolded. I mean, I love Fauci to death, but, this dude was a captain of his high school basketball team. They were 1-16. I don't know how you throw a ball that bad. I haven't played baseball in, 6-7 years, and I could still throw a ball better behind my back. But, it's fine. I mean, the mound is far away, but still, it's just kind of amazes me. The return of baseball really amazed me, but if you haven't seen the Fauci Throw, it's something that will make you laugh. It'll make your Friday a little bit better. It just amazes me a human being who was once an athlete especially could somehow throw it 10 feet to the left. There wasn't any wind. But it returned all in Washington, which is another topic we're getting into. That was a faster topic, but we had to bring it up. The Fauci throw will forever be known as one of the worst opening throws. Not the worst, but up there. Next up, we have the Washington football team. Me and my dad spout out like 10 different team names in 5 minutes that aren't trademarked by that one lady for some odd reason. She's kind of nuts for that. This is so, I hate to say it, boring. I do approve that they're not using Redskin anymore because it's a very offensive term, but like they're not even giving them a cool logo for now. It's just going to be the numbers. Like, what are they going to have on the TV? Just WAS? I hate it personally. The Washington football team is one of the dumbest names I've heard in a while. It sounds like a soccer team, but like a little kid soccer team when like the vote, when there's like 10 kids on the team and the vote is split for the team name, so they decide nothing because it would have started fights. I hate this. I could have thought of so many better names. Personally, I was going to put a video on it, but I don't like referencing the Redskins that much. I'm going to say it now because but the Washington football team is, I mean, like, imagine they make the playoffs and you have to sell merch that says, like, the Washington football team. Very funny meme going around of a picture of Ron Rivera wearing a shirt that said team on the back. And they're like, he's already supporting the Washington football team. But, like, I hate that. Like, announcing Dwayne Haskins is throwing a record number of touchdowns for the Washington football team. Like, they've been around since the 30s. I think going with Redskins for another year wouldn't have hurt anybody until you come up with a better name. Also, changing it mid-season isn't going to work. They're probably going to have it next season where they change the name. I think, personally, in the direction they should go, if you watch Pat McAfee, they should definitely go in the route of DC. Even the DC football team. DCFC. Or DCFT for this. Fine. I'll take that. But, like, Washington, it's like, if you're going to get rid of it, get rid of the whole history, change the colors, change everything. Change it so, like, you can't go to the stadium with that jersey and not look like you're a bystander and you don't care. I just think it's silly. Like, I do, again, like I said, I approve of them changing it for the sake of the Redskins, but I could have thought of something better than the Washington football team. Speaking of a new team, the NHL has just announced its 32nd hockey team being Seattle, and they're being called the Seattle Kraken. There's some creativity. That's why it's next on our topics, but quick message from our sponsor. We don't really have a sponsor, but I'm going to shout this out in the middle of each video. Everyone go follow my friend, my favorite editor, Kaz Spartan. He's the best on YouTube. He's one of the best editors. He hasn't edited for me yet because I have OCD, but go follow him. That's my little sponsorship for you, Kaz. I love you. Anyway, back to the Seattle Kraken. That's some creativity that we really need. The Washington football team is just so boring, but then you have a team coming into it, like the Seattle never fails with their team names. Seattle Seahawks. I don't care if they're 0-11 when I'm playing them. I'm terrified. Seattle Mariners, not the best, but they have a really slick look. And not only does Seattle Kraken have an awesome name, they have an awesome jerseys. They have a lot of awesome things. I can't wait to start watching hockey when it starts up again. I don't even, honestly, it could have started up and I wouldn't know. I am a Bruins fan, but I'm considering just jumping ship to the Seattle Kraken so I could be like one of their first fans. And also because I don't care about hockey and I couldn't name one Bruins player if you put a gun to my head. But Seattle Kraken, I love it. It's one of those teams that doesn't end in S. It's going to be the best. I mean, we saw how the Golden Knights is the 31st hockey team in the NHL, so I could only imagine that the Seattle Kraken will do okay, especially after this pandemic and, like, the season starts up again. But I'm excited for hockey now, for, like, today. Tomorrow I'll forget they even announced the Seattle Kraken, but they announced it this morning around, I think, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And honestly, I might be swayed to be a Seattle Kraken fan. I'm at least going to watch and buy probably, like, a jersey or two. But, like, I don't even have any Bruins gear. Like, no one knows I'm a Bruins fan. I think I might just become a Seattle Kraken fan. Like, that's awesome. And if I get NHL 21, maybe I'll even make a Seattle Kraken franchise. Who knows? Who knows? But I also love how they're spelling Kraken without a C. Kraken. I can't think of too many sports teams with a K that starts. Off the top of my head, I'm not going to think about it for too long. But, yeah, I can't think of any. But Seattle gets a hockey team. Everybody's happy. You can't be upset about that. I think Seattle is an odd place to have a hockey team, but Seattle getting teams is better than anything. I mean, because they lost the Supersonics, or the Supersonics had an awesome team and logo and everything. So Seattle has never failed with creativity. They should get a basketball team in a couple of years. Seattle is going to be one of those more dominant sports places, just like Boston, LA, and New York. I could see it, especially if the Seahawks come out and do something incredible this year. There's a lot of things. If you watched my NFL award predictions, I predicted Russell Wilson MVP, and if that happens, this could be the beginning of the Seattle takeover, just like Boston did with the Red Sox, Bruins, Patriots. I don't see, and Celtics, obviously. I almost forgot about them. It's the one team I don't support in Boston. But, I love the Seattle Kraken. Great idea. Next on the list, going to basketball, finally, Bol Bol. Whew, he debuted Wednesday, July 22nd. What a debut. He played in the G League. Nobody cared. 44th pick in the draft. That means, if you didn't watch it, he had block, and then he runs all the way up the court and hits a three. He looked like Manute Bol, which is kind of funny because he's his son. But Bol Bol is a force to be reckoned with, as well as the Denver Nuggets' entire starting lineup. They had Jokic at point. Center was Miles Plumlee, or whatever. Plumlee was their center. Forward was Bol Bol. It was one of the tallest lineups in NBA history. They dominated that team, but imagine that starting lineup versus the Rockets. I don't care if you have James Harden and Russell Westbrook, you're losing that game. You have 3 7-footers in the starting lineup, an average height of 6'10". It's just too hard to beat. Bol Bol, although it was only one scrimmage, was looking like an absolute steal for the Nuggets at the 44th pick. I thought he was going to go undrafted. I wish the Knicks picked him, just like Taco Fall. Imagine Taco Fall or Bol Bol in a Knicks jersey. This chair is really uncomfortable. I'm sitting in, I'm going to be honest. We need to get some sponsors so I can buy a better chair. But I love this Bol Bol debut. I love Bol Bol. I've always loved the Bol family. Not really Manute, if I'm being completely honest. Besides his playing days, he was kind of an awful person. Kind of just I think he has 100 kids or something like that, maybe more. And watch all of them are going to start coming through the circuits and be amazing basketball players. But also, we saw Bol Bol at 50 playing basketball. Manute Bol at 50 playing basketball. Now we're seeing Bol Bol at the young, ripe age of 20 playing basketball. I believe that's his age. And the Nuggets are going to be a real team to mess with. Now we're getting to the Nuggets. They have such a young lineup. Mike Korzema just did a video about them yesterday. Jamal Murray, young. Nikola Jokic, young. Bol Bol, young. Michael Porter Jr., if he could start getting it all together, young. I think their oldest player is 31. I think they have the youngest lineup, and then I think the Knicks are second. But this is an incredible team to mess with. This could be a dynasty. Imagine if Carmelo returned for a ring. But I don't think, honestly, they could win it this year if the Lakers choke. But I don't think they'll win it. I just couldn't see this team winning it all, especially because when you have to play Lakers, you're not putting Nikola at point guard because you have Anthony Davis. You're going to put Nikola versus Anthony Davis most likely. Or because Plumlee versus Anthony Davis, that's just going to be awful. Bol Bol versus Anthony Davis, although Bol Bol shocked the world, Bol Bol is also much skinnier than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis looks like he put on 40 pounds of muscle in quarantine. Could be roids, who knows. But I would take the Lakers in that series unless you just adjusted the lineup. I could see the Nuggets stealing a couple games from them, but the Lakers will win the series. I don't think this year's the year. I think if they draft well, once again, because they always seem to get a very good player in the draft, I think they could pick up another steal, do good. Michael Porter Jr. could, stop his injuries. Mike Porter Jr. was one of the first people I did an NBA 2K 20 series on, or 19 at the time. So I love MPJ, but good luck to the Nuggets. I'm not gonna lie to you. Besides the Pelicans, Trailblazers, and Kings, that's my team I'm rooting for. Because I did bet money on the Kings, or my dad did, because I'm not old enough to gamble. My dad bet money on the Kings because in a $100 bet when you $100K or something crazy like that. That's the odds against the Kings right now. But next thing we're getting into the NBA and MLB Return. I watched the first pitch, like I brought up before, Fauci, but I didn't watch. The game's actually happening as I'm recording this because I don't care about baseball. I'm a Red Sox fan. They weren't playing as this is being recorded. But the first home run was hit. Empty stadium looks really weird. One commentator in the stadium, another couple out. There's very little people. Like, there's just uniform personnel, coaches, umps, all that kind of stuff. I don't even think they're having, like, the base coaches anymore. So I approve the MLB return. I think it's awesome. It's something to watch. I mean, I don't love it, but and the NBA scrimmages returned, and they did something I didn't think they'd do. I wasn't really watching them construct it, but they have the walls up that are animated. So when you're shooting a free throw, they can do cool stuff. They have the camera shakes from 2K. I absolutely love that sports are back. I think we could have waited a little bit longer just to be safe. But sports being back is something awesome for everyone. It helps mental health. Helps me make content, if we're being honest. And, I just love that sports are back, and I can watch sports with my family. I can watch sports with myself. I can report breaking news like I did with Yesel Puig. But that video got 5 views, so I deleted it. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to cap. But sports are back. That's the main focus. I'm happy. I am super duper happy. But lastly on the show, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because it is on a day's notice. I thought of this and I just recorded. But the next episodes will be longer, I promise. And it's the silliest one on this. Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. Also, September 12th, will be the undercard with the Mike Tyson fight. I might make a separate video on this. Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. Nate Robinson's almost 40. Jake Paul is in his early 20s. I hate to say it because I'm a big Nate fan. I'm a big basketball fan. Big 3 fan. I love Nate. Jake Paul's winning this. Like, Nate Robinson's reach is so much less than Jake Paul's. Jake Paul is so much younger. Probably, I don't know about faster, but they're both very athletic. I don't care if you hate Jake Paul because of the person he is or whatever. Jake Paul is an athlete. Always has been. Football, wrestling, everything. But Nate Robinson is a professional athlete. Probably could have played in the NFL if he wanted to. Right now, trying to make his comeback to the NBA. Just played in the Big 5 tournament. I don't know how he did. But Big Nate, Little Nate, whatever they call him, Kryptonite, I love that nickname, versus Jake Paul. That's what I wanted to end this on because I just thought it was so silly. Like, that's like putting up Butterbean versus The Big Show in a freaking, like, swimming, like in a swimming competition. Breaststroke 200 meters. Big Show versus Butterbean. I would pay to see it. I would pay to see that over I'd watch Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. But I might make a whole video why Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul is just dumb for both of them. Because, that's real, Jake Paul has been fighting, and he does sports that are more like head-on injuries. So I think he has the edge. He has more experience. But Nate Robinson, I can't tell you if Nate Robinson's been punched in the face before, right in the nose, in his life. Like, I know it's crazy to say, but he might not have been. Who knows how he's going to take a punch? Like, yeah, you can spar good, you can practice good, but practice how you play. He better get sparring partners there, just like Jake. Better not mess around dunking the whole time. It's Nate, if somehow you watch this and this blows up, stop playing basketball. for the 2 months we have until it happens, just stop playing basketball fully. No dunks, because your vertical really doesn't matter. Just worry about only boxing and just I want to see a shredded Nate Robinson because that would make my year. If Nate Robinson wins that fight, Jake Paul should just retire because, honestly, Jake has probably 2 inches on him, much longer reach. But, I don't know, Nate Robinson's athleticism is nothing to be messed with. But that is it, guys, for episode 1 of the Shaney Show. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's a lot of fun. I promise next week's episode is going to be a lot longer. But if you guys enjoyed, leave a like. Tomorrow I have a Isaiah Thomas episode going out, I believe, in the playoffs. And besides that, every other day there's a 2K video upload. It's either Bol Bol or Isaiah Thomas. In between, sometimes I'll upload breaking news during the days. Sometimes I'll upload a scripted video. This was like the least scripted video I've done in a while, since probably any of my rant videos. But, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all, guys. Everybody stay safe. Peace out.